What's up everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. You're watching Shoe DIY, and in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to loosely lace your Asics Gel-NYC with double laces. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to loosely lace your Asics Gel-NYC with two different lace colours. Now you can see here that I've used the cream that came with the shoes in the box, but I've also bought a second pair of grey laces to contrast with the cream and to also match the grey of the shoes. So let's get into it. I'm going to place this one over there so we can see what we're aiming towards, and we're going to be lacing up the right shoe. Now, as I've said, one of my laces, the grey one, is slightly longer by 10 centimetres, which really doesn't matter at all. We're going to start off by placing the lace through the hoop on the front of the shoe. So glide your lace through, and then to make sure that both sides are the same length, put your ends together and pull up, and just make sure that one isn't any more slack than the other. You want the same amount of tension in both sides. Just making sure that's sitting nice and flat. And then the cream one is going to go in next, and you can see here that I'm putting the cream one on top of the grey as I work my way up the shoe. So I'm just going to run it through, holding the grey one in place so it doesn't move. And I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to take the cream, ends together, and I'm going to pull up, this time holding onto the grey and making sure that the cream one has got the same tension in both sides. So I'm just going to place that one above, make sure they're sitting nice and flat. And all the way up the shoe, I'm going to be going with the grey lace first. So I'm just going to move that one out of the way. So we're going to place the grey lace down through that first hole on the outside of the shoe. I'm going to catch the lace as well and make sure it doesn't twist as it moves down into the hole. I'm also not going to pull it right down into the hole to begin with, because I'm going to show you that when I put the cream lace in, I want to be able to grab that grey lace and pull it over to one side so I can get into the side of the hole like that. So I'm just going to push the cream lace through, pull that through a little bit, and then I'm just going to make sure that as the laces come down into the hole, they're sitting nice and flat. If they twist, bring them out and just bring them back in again. And then go with the cream one, again catch it on your finger and untwist any twists that come out as you bring it down into the hole. It is a little bit of a fiddle. You do have to kind of make sure that one doesn't twist when it sits above the other, but just take your time. Patience is key here to getting the lacing style looking really good, and then you have that nice smooth look. So we're going to do the same on the other side. We're going to put the grey lace down into the first inside hole. Bring it down to make sure it's sitting flat. Make sure it doesn't go all the way down into the hole, so that you can pull that lace to one side and get the cream one down the side of the hole like that. And pull this one through, making sure you're sitting it above the grey. So the grey one comes down into the hole, and then the cream one sits over the top like that. And then we're going to take the grey outside lace, we're going to bring it across to the second hole on the inside. Catch it on your finger, make sure it's sitting nice and flat, and then take your cream one. If I were you, I just constantly keep pulling it out to make sure it's sitting really flat. And then we're going to pull the grey lace out the way and guide the cream one down into the hole. Pull your cream one through a little bit, making sure that it sits above the grey, and then you pull the grey one down, pull your cream one down, and make sure they're sitting the way you want them to. I'm actually going to stop there for a minute now, and I'm going to make sure that I put some padding inside the shoe, and that's going to give you those nice broad loose laces. So I've already padded out the toe cap, and that's to make sure that these two thick laces are not going to slide down into that bit there. So I'm just going to put them in to bulk the shoe out, and that's going to make it feel like there's a foot inside it, and then I'm going to get those great loose laces. And then I'm going to take forgot where I am here now, I'm going to take the inside lace, and I'm going to take the grey one first, And I'm going to take it down that second hole on the outside. Then the cream one goes into the second hole on the outside. Just grab the grey one, pull it over so you can get into the hole. Then stop and pull the grey one in. Catch it on your finger, make sure it's sitting nice and flat. Then take the cream one and make sure the cream one's sitting over the top, like that. And then just check that they're not too tight. They are tight, just kind of loosen them up a bit, or you just pull your shoe out a little bit and it'll stretch them out. So if you're happy with where they're positioned, we'll move on to the outside lace again. This time we're going to go through the hoop on the tongue. So I'm going to take the grey lace first, just slide it through that hoop, like that. Then I'm going to take the cream one, sitting it above the grey. So I'm following the same pattern all the way up. Then the grey one's going to go in through that third hole on the inside of the shoe. Nice and flat. And then I'm going to pull that out the way while I take, hang on, it's twisted a minute, so I'm just going to pull that round. And I'm going to pull that out of the way to get that cream one to go down that hole, like that. And then don't pull the cream one all the way through yet. Just make sure it's gone in nice and flat. Grey one comes first. And I can see that the cream one's sitting below it. So I'm just going to pull it over a little bit, like that. So the grey one goes in, and then the cream one sits on the top. So we're following the same pattern all the way up. And again, as you pull, if you pulled it down and it's gone too tight, just wiggle it out a little bit. Then the inside two laces are going to go through the hoop. So we're going to go with the grey one first. So slide it above, sitting on top of the laces that are already in there. Like that. And the cream one goes over the top. So again, it's got to sit on top of the laces that are in there and also sit above your grey one. Like that, just check that they're sitting nice and tidily. And then we're going to take the grey one down through that third hole on the outside of the shoe. Bring it almost into the hole. Then take the cream one, pull the lace over to the side so you can get the cream one into the side of the hole. Pull it a little way. And then we're going to pull the grey one in first. Just pull that underneath there. Then the cream one. And then I'm just going to stop and make sure they're sitting the way they should be. That one's got a little bit tight, so I'm just going to pull that one out a little bit. So you're going to have to keep adjusting all the time, because as you pull one lace down into the hole, there's a good chance it's going to pull the other one down a little bit too tightly. So you just need to keep making sure that you've adjusted it so it's sitting so the laces are sitting nice and relaxed in your shoe. So we're going to go with the outside laces. We're going to come across to that fourth hole on the inside. So I'm taking the grey one first. Sitting it nice and flat. And then I'm going to take the cream one, so I need to pull the lace out the way. And then push the cream one down the hole and through. And then stop, make sure that the grey one's in. Just pull that under there out the way. Then the cream one's in. And you've got them sitting, so they've got the same amount of tension on both of them as well. Then the inside one's going to come across to that fourth hole on the outside. So grey one first. then cream one. So I'm just going to pull that lace out the way, push the cream one into the back of the hole, then I'm going to pull the grey one down first, make sure it's sitting nice and flat, then the cream one, and then I'm just going to check my laces again, that they're all sitting, not getting too tight, sitting nice and relaxed. And then finally we've got the two laces on the outside and they're going to come out through that top hole there. So I'm going to do the same again. The grey one's going to go first. I'm just going to pull it out a little way to match these ones, like that. Now you will get a loop, which is absolutely fine because that's going to sit behind the tongue. Then I'm going to bring the cream one in. So again, pull the laces out to one side, push your cream one in. If you find that your greys come out too much, just pull it back in a little bit and make sure that they match up with what you've got over here. And then those two loops, and you can see there that the grey is slightly longer than the cream on my one, and I'm going to put those behind the tongue. So don't worry if you've bought a second pair of laces and they're just a little bit longer. It really doesn't matter because that extra little bit of length is going to go behind the tongue in that loop. And then we're going to take the inside lace, the grey one first, going out through that top hole, like that. Then the cream one is going to sit on the top of it. So pull those two bits of lace out the way, push your cream through the back of the hole and out. Match up your lace lengths here. And then those two loops are going to go behind the tongue again, and you'll wear those loops on top of your foot. Now because the laces are so soft, it really doesn't matter, you'll hardly feel them sitting there at all. And then you just need to wiggle around your laces to make sure that they're both sitting completely flat against each other. If I push the sock forward a little bit, you'll be able to see the style a little bit more. Now it looks a little bit tight compared to this one, so I'm just going to ease out my laces bit by bit as I work my way down the shoe. And I'm going to ease it out again by pulling out the shoe, and you can see you actually pull the laces out with you. If that's not enough, just pull them out with your fingers a little bit, and just check that your grey's sitting underneath the cream, or the other way around if you decided to make it the opposite. Push the sock in. So as you can see, it's a really fun, cool way to wear your NYC. And now I'm going to show you what they look like on feet. So there you have your loosely laced Asics Gel-NYC with double laces for a fun, cool look. I hope that was helpful. If it was, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, and for future videos, subscribe. Until the next time, thanks for watching.